Big Sills, a week away from the National Football League's draft. A week away. I was just telling Tone, how many times do you think you can cook this hamburger? I mean, right? Hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? What do you think they'll do? Go down, go up. Three picks, 4 picks, 2 picks, this guy, that guy. All right, man, I'm with you. Enough. Week out from what will be a pretty important draft for the Philadelphia Eagles and a lot of teams in the NFL, really. Okay? And by the way, this Matt Patricia story is funny. So is he an Eagle assistant coach or is he not an Eagle assistant coach? Personally, I think the Twitter folks over there at the NovaCare Center jumped the gun a little bit, and Howie and Nick Sirianni wanted to announce that Matt Patricia is now part of the coaching staff in some capacity, maybe special teams or what have you. Look, Matt's a good assistant coach. I don't have a problem with Matt Patricia being an assistant coach. Surely he brings down something from New England. Now, if you're telling me, do you want Matt Patricia as your head football coach? Absolutely not. Every single New England Patriot coach who has gone on to be a head coach, except for Bill O'Brien, has turned out to be a turd. If you're telling me, Sills, would you ever want somebody to be interviewed that Bill Belichick coached? No. You wouldn't want anyone that was in that coaching staff? No. Not one of them. Charlie Weiss turned out to be a turd. Joe Judge was a turd. I mean, Romeo Crennel was kind of a Parcells guy. Wasn't really a Belichick guy, but he was with Bill a long time. Bill Belichick doesn't produce head football coaches. He just doesn't. The Eagles do a better job. Get this. The Philadelphia Eagles do a better job at producing head coaching candidates than the New England Patriots do with Bill Belichick, who's arguably the greatest coach in the history of the National Football League. Okay? He doesn't produce assistant coaches that go on and do shit. He just never does. Why in the world would you ever interview somebody off that coaching tree? Via Field Yates. While it's not official yet, Eagles coach Nick Sirianni says there are trending in the direction of the team hiring Matt Patricia to the coaching staff. All right, great. I think Matt could bring a lot to the table. It's all good. I mean, I think they have a convention center of coaches now at the NovaCare Center. But at the end of the day, he's a quality coach. Assistant coach, sure, no problem. I don't care if Darius Slay doesn't like him or not. That has no bearing on whether I'm going to hire a coach, whether Darius Slay likes him. Why would that have any implications on whether or not you hire a guy? Let me just put it to you this way. Matt Patricia will be an assistant coach longer than Darius Slay will be a Philadelphia Eagle moving forward from April 20th. There's a better chance that Matt Patricia's an Eagle longer than him. So, I mean, it really doesn't matter what Darius Slay, how he feels, how their relationship was in Detroit. I don't really care. If you can add good people to your building, you can help your special teams, whatever. By the way, look at Yacht. Yacht goes, Patricia's a clown. I don't know. He's got 3 Super Bowl rings. He had to have been around something. How many Super Bowl rings are on that Eagle coaching staff? 0. I don't know. Before you call a guy a clown that has 3 rings, ask yourself what you have in the building. Ain't nobody in that building. Jeff Stoutland's got one. Okay? Jeff Stoutland's got one. Okay? He's got 3. All I'm saying again is he's a good assistant. Head coach? No, I'm not hiring the guy to be my head football coach. Let me do this to you. And before we get out of the gate here and we start going into topics and we start our Bijan Robinson beating of the drum here and why the Eagles should draft him. You know, I've been telling you guys the history of the Philadelphia Eagles since 2000 has not been very good when it comes to drafting. And the record shows it. let me bring this up. By the way, at the bottom of the hour, Mark Schlereth, 3-time Super Bowl champion and Fox Sports analyst, will join us at the bottom of this hour. I gotta throw this at you here. You know, when you look at the current roster and the position that it's at right now, and you look at how this football team has been built, I got to tell you, I think it's kind of impressive. You know me. I look at both sides of the aisle, and as I tell you, your history since 2000 hasn't been very good. What about the current roster? Quarterback, Jalen Hurts, your offense, drafted. Gainwell, drafted. A.J. Brown, trade. Devontae Smith, draft. Jordan Mailata, drafted. Landon Dickerson, drafted. Jason Kelce, drafted. Cam Jurgens, we're slugging him in and placing him in that right guard position, drafted by the Eagles. Lane Johnson, drafted. Dallas Goedert, drafted. Quez Watkins, drafted. I think that's freaking remarkable that you have 10 of 11 starters on offense that have been drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles, and you completely built that football team on the offensive side through the draft. Kudos to you. That's freaking amazing. That's freaking amazing when you have almost 95% of your offense built through the NFL draft. That is remarkable. That is remarkable. I got it, Jay. But Jay, I think you're going to be surprised because I was. 10 of 11 offensive starters went through the draft via the Eagles. Spectacular. The defense. Brandon Graham, drafted. Fletcher Cox, drafted. Jordan Davis, drafted. Josh Sweat, drafted. Will linebacker, Morrow, free agent. Nakobe Dean, drafted. Hassan Reddick, free agent. Slay, trade. Terrell Edmonds, free agent. Reed Blankenship, drafted. Bradbury, free agent. Avonte Maddox, drafted. So out of your defense, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of your 11 guys were drafted by the Eagles. So you're telling me 17 of your 22 went through the draft and the Eagle draft room. 17 of 22 starters is spectacular. That's spectacular drafting. Okay? That's spectacular. Spectacular. 7 of 11. I mean, plus Avonte Maddox. Dude, that's getting it done. You know, I'm telling you, and I'm going to say this one more time, man. Okay? I'm going to say it one more time to you. I think Howie Roseman's a better general manager since he's come out of the broom closet. He's been a better general manager. He's listened more. He's taken the advice of his assistants better. He's done a better job of this. And as they prepare for the upcoming draft, I'm more apt to believe that they are going to get this thing right. And Jay goes, so everything you were ranting about a month ago, you now take back? No. Your history sucks. Why would I take back what you are and what you did? Take back what, Jay? That you drafted 37 DBs, almost 40 defensive backs in 23 years, and you don't have one on the starting team, basically, that is worth the shit at corner? What do you want me to take back? Your history? I'm not going to revise. See, a guy like Jay wants me to revise his history. Dude, this is your history. This is current and recent history. Take back what? Take back what? I just said I think Howie's a better since 19. When he's been given the reins again, is a better general manager. What aren't you hearing? And by the way, once again, take what back? That you sucked for 23 years? And that over the last 4 you've gotten it right? What do you want me to take back? What do you want me to take back? You want me to change the history? Guys like Jay want you to change the history and say, Sil, say that the Eagles do a good job drafting. I can't. But recently, since 2019, again, watch this, Jay. Watch this. Since Howie's come out of the broom closet, he's been a better GM. This has nothing to do with 23 years of history, Jay. This is about what you've done recently since he's been given the baton and the 3-year contract extension. Okay? I can't take back your history. I know you'd like to, because guys like Jay are the kind of people that said, hey, Jalen Hurts, what are the Eagles doing drafting that guy? Now you're like, I never said that. This guy's got like palsy. This guy's got Tourette. You know the guy who's a sports talk Tourette syndrome guy. You know? Yesterday's a great example. How about Mike Missinelli going like this? Sileo, so if you flopped on Jalen Hurts, I go, Mike, did you flop on Carson Wentz? He goes, I guess I did. So when you tell me that, it's an easy comeback. I don't flop on anything. I give you the facts, and I give it to you straight. And what you guys don't like to hear is where I go with things. It's all good. Okay? It's all good, man. This is a pretty good job, though. Okay? 17 of your 22 in recent drafting made up your team. It's damn good, man. It's damn good. That football team that you have right now in Philadelphia is a team built through the draft. However, the problem that you have is your premium positions on defense are not built through the draft. Your edge rusher and your corners. And they're not built through the draft. As a matter of fact, you're not very good at cornerback at all. And you're not very good at edge rusher. So, I mean, the best defensive football player that they've drafted in 23 years has been Fletcher Cox. Brandon Graham has been solid. He's not spectacular or great. There's never been really a playmaking guy on that Eagle defense since Reggie White. Well, Hugh Douglas was pretty good. Doc was pretty good too. Okay? I put Brian Dawkins in there for sure. Brian Dawkins. Since Reggie, Brian Dawkins, Hugh Douglas, Jeremiah Trotter. I'd put him in there. But it's been the Chris Longs and guys like that. Chris Longs, Hassan Reddicks. It's been dudes like that on that defensive side of the ball that have been like brought in as hired guns. But the majority of the football team, and I'm just trying to make a point here, the majority of the football team, I wouldn't call Trent Cole exceptional. I'd say he was a really good ball player. Okay? He's not the better player than Fletcher. And by the way, I love how you guys are giving Jordan Davis more time than you gave Fletcher Cox. Because when Fletcher Cox first burst onto the scene, he put up numbers. That guy put up nothing. And we got to be patient with Jordan. Nobody would. This is the NFL, man. You're not on a 4-year scholarship. You don't have You don't have time to you're not supposed you know what makes me crazy is when I hear this from fans. You got to give them time to develop. This is the NFL. I'm paying you $8 million or $6 million a year. You better be ready to go, dude. You better be ready to go. Let's go, dog. Fletcher came on the scene. You went like this with your eyeballs. Fletcher's a good-looking prospect. You look at Jordan. By the way, I would say this to you about Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis is probably the highest drafted nose guard in the history of the NFL. I've never seen a nose guard that high drafted. Okay? The Eagles have struggled to draft blue chip talent on defense, for sure. This is Tone. The guys that made up the majority of the Eagles roster was built more so on hard work versus talent, which emulates what Philly is all about. I agree with that. The Chris Longs of the world, guys coming in where people thought that you were, hey, quite frankly, check this out. It's a great take by Tone. TJ Edwards, undrafted. Kaiser White, let loose. These were guys that were cast-offs that were brought into Philly and worked their way back into being mainstream NFL players, hence the contracts they got. When you get a contract that's 3 times or 5 times the money you were making in previous years, you came in and did your job. And Philly gave you the opportunity for that. And that's the kind of guy Howie Roseman likes. That's right, man. Hey, and get this. Tone says a roster full of overachievers. Here's what you love about that. I'd rather have a roster of players on desperation than players in a comfort zone. Players in a comfort zone play in Dallas. Players with desperation play in Philly. You know what that means? What's wrong with Hassan Reddick? Why is he on his 3rd team in 3 years? TJ Edwards, undrafted. Kaiser White, let loose. James Bradbury, given up on in New York. Slay, given up on in Detroit. All those type of players. Javon Hargrave, given up in Pittsburgh. What is that? What's that? That is a symbol of this. Those guys were in desperation to play their asses off every single freaking day to get into a position where they could make more money and feed their families. And that's exactly what you had last year. Do you understand every single free agent that the Philadelphia Eagles had last year got a raise? Think about that. Isaac Seumalo, raise. Miles Sanders, raise. Bradbury, raise. TJ Edwards, raise. Kaiser White, raise. Zach Pascal, raise. Gardner Johnson, raise. Every single guy came into Philly on a desperation contract. Either it was going to go one way or the other. I'd rather have a team full of guys that are starving to eat than guys that are fat and get fed and know it, that they're going to get fed. The difference between the Dallas Cowboys roster and the Philadelphia Eagles roster is exactly that. The Eagle roster, and the reason that the Eagles feel comfortable redoing the contracts and giving more money to the offensive side of the football, because they feel comfortable with those guys. Darius Slay's on a 1-year contract. Took a $4 million pay cut. Lane Johnson's not taking pay cuts. Jordan Mailata's not taking pay cuts. Those guys on that side of the ball aren't taking pay cuts. Okay? They're not taking pay cuts on that side. They're just not. The Eagles are a desperation team. They thrive on it. That city thrives on it. What does that mean? Well, you got to grab your lunch pail every day and your miner's hat, and you got to turn that light on and go into the tunnel and dig for coal every day. And in the Eagles players' eyes, these guys get up every morning and dig for gold. That's why the Cowboys are coddled. Jerry Jones coddles his guys. That's why they don't win. The Eagle guys go out and play with desperation. When Howie puts you on a one-year contract, know this. What if C.J. Gardner bombed? You think anybody's giving him $6 million? No. What if T.J. Edwards didn't play well? You think anybody's giving him $7 million? Or how about Kaiser White, who made $1 million last year? Guy makes $5.5 million. That right there is the prime example of Philadelphia football, is Kaiser White. Kaiser White, who's a good player, got a 4 times the amount raise. Think about that. Okay? Slay, dude, Darius Slay and Matt Patricia will be fine. They'll be fine. You guys make these players and coaches sound like they're infants and that they're preschool people. Matt Patricia's brought in as an assistant coach. And I can promise you, Matt Patricia's already gone probably to Darius Slay, or when he gets the first chance and he goes, hey, man, I know we didn't have a good go of it in Detroit. I just want to have a clean slate with everything. And please, let's just go forward and let's win some ball games. That's all you want, man. Dude, don't worry about that shit. Okay, how about like the guy, Bobby Wagner, going back to Seattle? You guys are so lame. I hate fans that do that shit because you make athletes sound stupid, immature, and there are some, but dude, everybody's in the business world here. These guys, instead of carrying briefcases, they carry helmets. They're intelligent men. You don't think that Bobby Wagner ending the first time around was shitty with Pete Carroll and Schneider and them guys? What happened? They shook hands, kissed and made up. Everybody's back in the building again trying to win ball games. Stop that dumb shit. It'll be a non-factor. Or the Eagles would not. Why would the Eagles bring in a guy who's going to create chaos in their coaching staff? Yeah, because the Eagles are known for that. The Eagles are not known for bad hires. Even Chip Kelly had a winning record. Marshall, me too, man. Guys are idiots that think that. Matt Patricia's going to come in and ruin. Who do you think he's, T.O.? He's got 3 rings. Stupid. I'll tell you this. Who do you think's a better defensive coach? Jonathan Gannon or Matt Patricia? I think it's a great hire too. Thank you, Marshall. You don't think Jonathan Gannon's a better defensive coordinator or defensive coach than Matt Patricia, do you? Because that's a bull-faced lie. That is a bull-faced lie. And you got a guy in the building that at least shaves. Every other coach in that building is a super young dude. You got some guy in the building with some experience. It's all good, man. It's a great hire. And by the way, you know what's becoming evident in Philadelphia? This is becoming the reclamation project place for players and GMs and potential GMs to come. Matt Patricia is going to reinvent himself in Philadelphia, being able to deal with Darius Slay, being able to deal with a culture like the Eagles. And you know what he's probably going to get? Another opportunity to be a head football coach one day because the Eagles are pumping these guys out. Relax, guy. Okay, look at it. He was on the staff that lost to the Eagles. Yeah, he was also on the staff that won 3 rings, ding dong. Well, hold on. I want to make sure I get that right here. Because how many Super Bowl rings? Matt Patricia. He lost to the Eagles. Yeah, how many rings does he have, though? How many Super Bowl rings does Matt Patricia have? He's got 3 Super Bowl rings. And he won 2 as defensive coordinator. And in 2016 defense, held the NFL and had the lowest points allowed. Served as the Patriots play caller. And that thing last year was a shit show. By the way, personally for me, That's a great hire for the Eagles, bringing in a guy like Matt Patricia. Dude, is the guy a head coach? No. Guy's got 3 Super Bowl rings. He's hanging around Belichick. You got a guy like the more minds you have in the building like that. I hate how fans do that shit where they just turn around and think that players are not going to do like what Bobby Wagner did. Bobby Wagner had a bad ending in Seattle. What did he do, though? They kissed and made up. Schneider, Carroll, here I'm back. Let's go play ball. Don't be stupid, people. NFL players carry helmets, not briefcases, but they're business dudes too.